I don't know if you heard this in a study, and I found this to be true, that a person cannot put that mask on really longer than 6 months. After six
Oh, okay.
months, you'll start to see the cracks and the red flags.
Mm,
Like that anesthesia, that's what I call it, the anesthesia that you're feeling in the first 6 months,
yeah.
it'll start wearing off after 6 months and you'll start to see who you really are. And for me, in every relationship, friendship as well, I have seen that people can only put that front on for 6 months. After the 6 months, I
Yeah.
can't do this. And it's not, boom, I'm this person. Sometimes it is my ex-husband. That's what happened. But
Yeah.
typically, yeah, 6 months, and you start to see they can't hold on to it much
The
longer.
mask
But
comes off.
yeah, but then those 6 months, you're invested.
Welcome to Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. A space for honest conversations about mental health, self-love, living more consciously, finding clarity, and spreading light through all of life's challenges. Just a quick disclaimer, this episode touches briefly on domestic violence. If you or someone you know is struggling, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. Today, my guest is Nikki Allen, author of Loved You, Hated You. Today's conversation is for anyone who has ever loved someone so deeply that you lost sight of yourself, you stayed longer than you should have, or you've wondered how you got so far from who you used to be. My guest today, Nikki Allen, author of Loved You, Hated You, bold and emotionally charged novel inspired by real-life heartbreak. What began as a song, which she wrote, then evolved into a screenplay, became a gripping work of fiction that explores betrayal, identity loss, and the power of choosing yourself. Nikki writes with raw honesty and cinematic intensity, and today she's here to talk about the creative process, emotional healing, and the truths that only fiction has the courage to tell. Nikki, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you
Yeah.
here. Can you start by sharing a little bit just about your background and the journey that brought you here?
Yes, but first, I love the title of the show. I hope it's not backwards. Can you see?
Yes, we
Yes.
can change it. Oh, I love it. Yay.
So I
Exactly.
look at that every day because I'm trying to change the world too.
Yes. Love it.
So my background, singer, songwriter, filmmaker, director, now author.
Wow. Very LA.
But I'm from Chicago, born and raised. Came to LA to be a singer, and I ended up working for a record company. And so that's why I like both being in front and being in back behind the scenes. So I'm all over the place with that.
Amazing.
And then somewhere in there, I met a guy that prompted this whole
Typical.
thing.
Classic.
Yep, yep. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
And
Yeah.
can you explain a little bit just about the book, what the book is about, and the story that led to you writing the book
Yeah.
/ the song? First, the
Yeah,
song.
well, it was a
Okay.
song first. So I was in this toxic relationship for ever. Actually, I don't even know where to start with it. It was good, but it was bad. And when I got to LA, my mom passed away 11 months after I got here.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm so
my
sorry.
father was never a support in anything that I had ever done. So I was just really out here by myself.
Wow.
And I met this guy. And I can guarantee you that he wasn't doing this on purpose because he was in his 20s too. That he didn't have, because I still know him. We're still cool. So I'm
Mm,
saying this from hindsight. So I know he didn't go into this relationship like I'm gonna be a toxic boyfriend, but he had his own issues too. And
mm-hmm.
what I found was because I didn't have any support, he was able to run roughshod all over me through this relationship.
Oh, wow.
And but he would do things like we didn't live together, but he had a key to my apartment. So I would come home days and walk down the hallway to my bedroom door, and there were rose petals all the way to the door. You open up the door,
Oh, wow.
balloons, teddy bears, the whole nine, right? So we hold on to that, ladies, right? We hold on to that.
To me, that sounds already like a red flag, like love bombing.
But now, yeah, but
Yeah.
when I was
In
20,
hindsight.
21 years old, that's the dream. That's what coming to
Yeah.
LA, and that's what happened. Oh my God. Yeah, no, that was
Right.
it. And truth be told, I won't say it's a red flag because my guy now does that and there is no red flag. So,
True.
but And he meant it genuinely. He had a best friend that was very jealous of him. And I
Mm.
noticed that we would be doing really good. And as long as his best friend was doing really good in his relationships, because he couldn't keep one girl, we're all happy. But if his friend wasn't in a good spot, he was always trying to throw daggers in our relationship. So it was just a lot of immaturity. However, it doesn't matter what age you are. This stuff happens. And
Yeah.
I stayed in it way too long. And we had, I think, 3 or 4 physical altercations. And the last
Oh,
one
wow.
that put us both in the hospital because I fight back. I'm not the one to go, don't hit me. I'm the one who like put them up.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I grew up with brothers and I'm from Chicago.
Makes sense.
So the last fight, we ended up in the hospital. And that's when I was like, we can't do this anymore. But I had a
Wow.
friend that really made me aware because I didn't even, and this happens too, we don't even realize we're in toxic relationships, right?
Yes.
So I'm just thinking it's just we're having a bad day, some bad days, bad months, a bad week, whatever it was. Because when the good was good, it was great. And I was telling a friend of mine this during lunch. We would work together. And finally she said, I don't want to hear about this anymore. I give you all this advice and you keep going back and you come back with the same story. And that's when I was like, oh, let me reevaluate this whole situation. And that's when I opened my eyes to see that this probably wasn't any good for me. And when I finally got out
Right.
of the relationship, because I'm not one of those writers that can write through the pain. I can't do that. I write
Mm.
after, I write in
Yeah.
hindsight. And so I was working on my first album and I wrote Loved You, Hated You. But the end part of those lyrics is I loved you, I hated you, and now I'm releasing you. That's the third line of that.
Mm.
And that came out on my first album. And I liked the song so much. And I was listening to it one day and I was like, what if? What if 'cause
Mhm.
this is what we all want, especially if you've been in a toxic relationship, you want somebody, this guy, girl, whatever your thing is, to come and save you, to just come and be that thing that you want this person to be, but they are that person. And that's where Love to Hate You came into play in terms of the screenplay, because it was a screenplay before it was a book. I wanted the character Gabby to be faced with, because what would happen if that dream man moved in next door to you? Because her dream guy moves in next door to her. What are you really going to do? Because you are so caught up in your guy, the guy you shouldn't be
Mm.
with. But truth be told, when you have that when you're wrapped up like that, it doesn't matter if Jesus comes, you're gonna be like, "But I really love him. He's
Mhm.
so good tonight. He's worth saving. And did you see what he did? And he called me his baby."
Potential.
Yeah, that's what we see. So that's how the screenplay came to pass. And then the book was just almost an accident. I took a boot camp class with Hay House, and then I got a call from their parent company, or they're the parent company of Balboa Press, and asked me if I
Wow.
had another book, because I do have a book. It's a self-help book, but they were like, we have a book you want us to publish, we can do that one. I'm like, you just don't tell them no. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to turn my screenplay into a book. Why not?
Wow.
So that's what I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like it can go both ways. Like sometimes they turn a screenplay into a book, and sometimes they turn a book into a screenplay.
I don't know any screenplay that has been turned into a book. It's usually the book
Book
and then a
first.
screenplay. I'm just ass
True.
backwards because that's me. That's
True,
how I
true, true.
roll.
Amazing. So all of this was inspired by your own story, but then it was also evolved into the character of Gabby. She wasn't
Yes,
necessarily exactly your story.
correct.
Very
She's
cool.
just my story, like the stuff that she goes through in the book is nothing compared to what I for real went through. I don't think readers could handle it. I think it
Wow.
wouldn't even be on the shelf because it would need to be in a memoir. It was just so toxic and so dark and so heavy
Mm.
that I would not put that in a fiction. You're not gonna want to read that. But
Wow.
I wanted to keep the same emotions, what I went through,
Mhm.
really to answer the question, because I know we all hear it if you've been in a toxic relationship. Why do you stay? You could just leave. Well, it's just
Yep.
all you gotta do is walk out. Yeah, no, it's not that easy. There's so many factors behind that. So I explain, at least in one scenario, because there are many reasons why we don't leave. But in the book, I explained why she won't leave, which I'm sure a lot of people can
Can
relate
relate to.
to. Yeah.
Wow. So you essentially wrote first the song, then the screenplay, then the book. All of this was after the relationship had ended in order to help you process. Was there anything else? Because it sounds like you were in a very tough spot with your previous relationship. Like it sounds very toxic, as you mentioned. What helped you get out of that tough spot? Like what helped you heal and process after the relationship ended, in addition to obviously writing the song and then all the evolutions of the song?
Yeah.
How did you get out of that tough spot?
First of all, I was raised by an amazing woman. Both my parents were together and married, so I had two parents, but my mother was just an amazing, strong female, and she raised me that way. So for me to take that kind of abuse from anyone, I had to ask myself, why? You weren't
Yeah.
raised like this. I didn't, my parents didn't fight. I didn't even saw my parents argue. You know what I mean? And they did have a toxic relationship, but it was quiet. So all this that I'm living out, I don't even have a reference for it. So I had to sit there and go, why am I allowing this guy to treat me like this?
Yeah.
And that's really the question of the day. Why do you allow anybody to treat you any kind of way? Because at the end of the day, you have to set those boundaries. And I just did what I'm calling soul surgery. That's my next book. What I call soul surgery, just to figure out what's going on. And initially, I came up with, I had just moved to LA. I lost my mom, and here he was. He was that anchor for me. But,
Right.
and that is true. But as I've been doing these podcasts and talking more about the book and doing more work, I realized it went even deeper than that. I had daddy issues, just all the childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And so he presented something that I hadn't seen, which was the flowers and the this and the that. And I held on to that. Here I am in this relationship. So I had to go, okay, still at the end of the day, it's me. What am I missing? What piece of this puzzle of Nikki needs to be filled? Because a guy, a friend, a job, money won't fill that. You have to figure out what's going on with self and then started. So I'm still healing. And I know I'm still healing because I've been with my current guy for 7 years. About 3 months ago, 4 months ago, he coaches and he was coaching these kids. And one of them needed something. And he was like, can you go on Amazon and order this for me? So I did. And he calls me, he's, what's going on? But you can hear all the excitement and just that energy behind it. He's amped up. And then he says, okay, do it. And that was like, it sounded like that relationship that I had been in decades. And I
Yeah.
remember just like freezing up on the phone. And I think I know he caught it because he goes, please.
Oh,
But,
wow.
but he was just caught in his moment,
Yeah.
nothing like that. But it was such a trigger. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I still got to work on that. But I didn't catch it right then, by the way. He came over the next day and I had my arms folded, mad. You don't talk to me like that, like he's ever talked to me like that. But I'm back in that old relationship. And
Yeah.
he's like, what's going on? And I told him, then the tears, I'm like, yeah, that's how he used to talk to me. So I still have
Triggered
to
you.
work. You know what I mean? And that was many moons ago. But there's
Right.
always still that something that I didn't even know was there that he said that, okay, go do it now. But he was just caught in excitement. But I'm hearing this old toxic, like, you better do it now thing. You understand? So you're
Yeah.
always going to do your work. Hopefully you can clean it all out. You have these pop-up surprises every now and then, but the thing is self-care, self-love, and boundaries.
So true. Why do you think that so many people tend to stay in toxic situations where they've been both loved and hated? What keeps them there? And what do you think can finally break that pattern?
What can break it, I'll start there, is the self-love. Once you start loving yourself, you demand the next person to love you that way. It just happens. It's nothing you're going to do like in particular other than loving yourself. You're not going to be like, you have to love me like I love me. You're going to attract that person. But what keeps us there is lack of self-esteem. Because I'll speak for me,
Yeah.
holding on to something because I wasn't sure. I was scared. He was the one. What about what I started to identify myself in that relationship.
Right.
So that means my self-worth was put on hold. And if you get someone that starts to isolate you, then that's an even bigger situation because you lose yourself. So
Right.
yes, you stay because you don't know how to go when you've put everything into this person. So
Yeah.
you have to do that. And if you're in that position right now and you want out, the first thing to do is ask yourself, what am I not loving about me that I'm allowing this to continue?
Yeah.
That's you don't have to reach out for outside support on that. That's you and you in the toilet, in the tub, have that conversation with
With
self
yourself.
and start working it out from there because that's really what I did. I was in that relationship for 7 years. And even after the hospital thing I told you about, we
Wow.
were still together 3 years after
Wow.
that.
Crazy. Yeah, no, it's so true. I also was in a 7-year relationship that ended about 2 years ago. And I think one of the hard parts about it, and now in hindsight, also why I stayed, it wasn't abusive by any means, but you end up losing yourself. Exactly.
Mhm.
Like you end up meshing into one person. You
Mhm.
don't even know who you are on your
No,
own.
no.
Everything you do together. Anytime you hang out, it's together. You have very
Mhm.
few like hobbies that are just yours,
Yes.
very little of a life of your own. And now in hindsight, I see how wrong that was
Yeah.
because you always need to have your own life and you always need to
Yes.
have, thank God I had my own money. Like, you need to get into
Right.
all of that. But I just think it's very important to, exactly as you said, love yourself first. And then
Mhm.
someone can come and contribute to your happiness, but they
Correct.
can
Correct.
never create your happiness.
No, and that's my thing. And I'm teaching my daughter that she's 26, but she's good. But it's if you're not an addition to my life,
Yeah,
no, thank you.
exactly. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
I'm okay with me. I don't need you to fill any holes, none of that. So are we
Yeah.
going to do this together and move forward? Or are you trying to deplete me? You can go. But if you're not an addition to my life, then yeah, and that's friendships, that's any
Yeah.
ship.
Any relationship. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think especially women often stay not even just in necessarily abusive relationships, but they often stay in relationships in general because they're very afraid to be alone. Like I think especially if you've been in a relationship your whole life or for 30 years and you don't even
Mhm.
know who you are anymore without
Right.
them, even if your partner is toxic or even if you're not in love anymore, people tend
Yep.
to stay because the uncertainty is so scary. And I talk about that a lot on this show.
Yeah.
People
Yes.
are so afraid, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And people are
Yep.
so afraid of uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it goes beyond relationships. That's just in anything when you are blaming you, it's always scary. My daughter's actually going through a thing with her job. She's an actress and she's working with an amazing famous actor right now, one on one. And her job is giving her grief about it. And I'm like, you have to choose. Do you want this? Because you said this is what you wanted. And she's
Yeah.
been acting since she's a child actor. So
Oh, wow.
but now she's like, I want to do this full time. Are you going to do this full time or your job full time? You have to choose. And so she's been waking up throwing up,
Oh,
stressed
wow.
out, headaches because that change is
Scary.
scary.
Yeah.
She was banking, she knows what her paycheck is going to look like every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Without that, you're on the hustle. She's like, I'm really going to be living the starving artist life. I was like,
Yeah.
perhaps, but how bad do you want it?
She's betting on herself also.
Yeah, and that's what we all have to do. We have to bet on ourselves. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're going to win every time, but trust me, if you take those steps, even if you lose, you still win. That's
Yeah.
a win.
I
That's a
agree.
win.
I agree. And I think it's almost like a muscle that you build, testing the uncertainty and getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, wow, that wasn't so bad. And then you know that you can do it again.
Yeah, I'm the queen of that. I'm just like, oh, just jump off the bridge. What the hell? Go.
Yeah. I'm
Then you got
similar
parachute, right? So go.
because it does tend to work out in the end. Yeah. We
It
worry
does.
way more than we need to. Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to talk about you wrote the song and then the screenplay and then the book. Is there something that songwriting offers you as a writer that a novel can't, and then vice versa? Each of those kind of modalities for writing, what did you find to be most unique or special about each of those when it came to your work?
Look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to piss some people off. I hate being a songwriter. I don't like writing music.
What? Really?
I just happen to be good at it. And it's so funny because the first song I ever wrote, it was because the guy was writing lyrics that I refused to sing. And he was like, you write something so I can get an idea of what you want. and then we'll go from there. So I wrote this
Wow.
song and took it to the studio, and he goes, "You wrote this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, is it that bad?" And he was like, "This is amazing." And so I played it for another professional, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were just a singer. I didn't know you were a songwriter." I'm like, "I know." So
Just
that's
fell
how
into
it
it.
kind of, and the thing is, I write best for myself. I don't like it. So we can take that off the table. I love writing
Okay.
screenplays. I just love writing screenplays. This novel was a little hard because with screenplays, when you're writing a movie, you don't have to describe everything because you're
Right.
shooting it. You can turn that camera to the tears coming down to see that she's really crying really hard. In a novel, you have to, I'm putting like her
Very
tears are like
descriptive.
diamonds coming. So you can get
Ah.
the visuals. You have to put that person in that position. And so the novel part was really hard because even though I took everything from the screenplay into the book, I still had to fluff it up
Right.
because I couldn't tell you interior,
More
exterior.
details.
I couldn't tell you we're inside this person's house or we're outside at the beach or whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing with me writing.
Do you have a favorite of the three? It sounds like screenplays are your favorite.
Screenplays are definitely my favorite. Yeah.
Amazing. You're in the right place for living in LA.
Just so you know, Loved You, Hated You actually had a production development deal where it was actually going to be shot.
Wow.
Then COVID hit.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I've had 3 TV shows and this movie on the block, on the chopping block, if you will, to get
Wow.
produced. Yeah, but yeah,
Amazing.
first of all, it's Hollywood, number one, and then number two, when COVID hit, so much stuff has changed.
So true. And now it's just a crazy time with AI. I don't even we don't have to get into it. It's just
That's a
crazy
whole
times.
other podcast.
Yeah, we could have a whole
to do.
podcast about that. I talk about it a
This
lot here as
lady
well.
here on my book, she's AI.
Crazy. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah, she's AI. And the lady I hired to do my graphic art, I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. And then I don't know if you've had a chance or get the chance to go to the website. I did a trailer, all AI.
Oh, that was AI. I did watch it. Oh, wow. That's wild. Wow.
Yeah, isn't it?
Crazy world. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And as a film director, I'm like, that's cool, but cheating, but cool.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see
Where
how it
this is
all
all going.
unfolds. Yeah. Crazy
Mhm.
times we are in,
Mhm.
unprecedented. But I want to get back to the book and your story. In terms of like your emotional truths, which emotional truths were you most afraid or most determined to include in your story?
Most determined to show the self-empowerment. You can do
Yeah.
this. You're strong enough. You're stronger than you think you are.
Mm.
What was the other part? The first one?
The ones you were most afraid to share, or what part of your story?
Just the vulnerability. Just this woman is she's in this bad relationship. And I know people are like, just leave, just go. It's that that's always the scary backlash. I don't understand it. Like, why couldn't she just leave? Because I've heard it.
Mhm.
So that was the scary
Easier
part.
said than done.
Yeah, just being that vulnerable with the story and knowing that people now know that this is loosely based off of something that I've actually been through. Yeah.
I think also because, and we talked about this before, but so much of your identity when you're in a relationship becomes, I'm in a relationship, I'm in a couple, and that kind of becomes who you see yourself as. And so
Yeah.
you're afraid to leave that identity.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
when people know y'all, not just
Right.
you.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing today? What are y'all? And so we
Mhm.
become the y'all. That's why I
Yeah.
love the relationship I'm in now because we are so individual, yet we are so one. And
Amazing.
but I did the work to attract that type of person and to set my boundaries. And I don't care. Let me tell you all something. I don't care what relationship you're in, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. Always set boundaries because once you let one thing slide, then it's, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. And then it escalates into something else. So I'm really good at
True.
saying, babe, I didn't like that right off the top. I don't care how ridiculous or small it may seem.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Or this is
Good.
what I want. This is what I expect. And I love him because he's very mature. He'll be like, I didn't think about it like that. I'm sorry. Okay, I won't do that again. And we don't have that problem again. He and I have never had an argument. That's not to say we haven't disagreed, but we've never had an argument in 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think that, and I talk about this on the show as well, the concept of attachment styles and our childhood wounds and all of these things that impact us in our relationships as adults. I personally have anxious attachment, and it comes from abandonment in my childhood. And I think a lot of us, also going back to why someone might stay in that toxic relationship, is we're so afraid of just being abandoned, of the
Yes.
concept of someone leaving us, that we
Correct.
cling to it. We cling tighter and
Yes.
tighter when they're
Yes.
showing us clearly that we
Yes.
shouldn't stay together.
Yes. Yes. And I have that. I'm still dealing with the abandonment situation too. And I realized that was some childhood trauma, which
Yeah.
is why I didn't want to let go of this guy, because the good in him was better than what I had ever experienced in a relationship, because my father didn't, he was just not a good dad. So I didn't get any of that from a male. All I got
Mm-hmm.
from my dad was criticism and you're not going to be anything and all those things. But this guy didn't say that to me. And my dad was not
Yeah.
supportive of this career. This guy came to my shows. So
Right.
that's why I was stuck in there. He was supporting me. And when he loved me, he was loving me greatly.
Yeah.
But how often was that? That was the question, because all relationships go through stuff. But which side are you on? Is it the good side or the not so good side? And we were on the
Yeah.
not so good side most of the time because his friend was not good most of the time. So it was like our relationship was based on this guy and however he was feeling. And that just shows you how
So interesting.
immature,
Yeah.
yeah, how immature they both were.
Seriously. I am curious. I mean, everything that we're talking about just strikes me regarding a conversation I recently had with some of my relatives, my grandma and my cousin. And we were talking about how so many powerful women end up falling for a man's potential. Why do you think that is?
Because we can fix everybody.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
It goes to the fact that, first of all, we are nurturers. And
Right.
I think as women, and especially if you're a mom, I wasn't a mom then, but we do see the potential in somebody. And when
Yeah.
they show us the potential, we believe our goodness, our love, our all that, the sexiness, all the wonderful things that we are going to
Yeah.
make him realize you got the prize and now let's get this potential going.
Now step it up.
Now
Yeah.
step it up. We're good. You don't have to act like that. And we try to work through it and talk through it. And honestly, sometimes that makes it worse because they're like, oh, she's not going to leave. She thinks I'm
Right.
that.
Comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. And we do, and we stay. And then and it's gradual because nobody, I'm sure there's somebody, but typically you won't, the first date or first time you guys are really getting close and he knocks you in your head and it's new in the relationship. Typically you won't stay. It's a
Yeah.
gradual thing. We're good. He's being sweet. He's laying it on thick. He might pop you in the head and be like, oh, babe, I'm sorry. I was having a bad day at work. And then you go, okay, that was a one-off, but then it happens again. And it may be a
Yeah.
year or two later
Yeah.
until eventually, and let's say something happens, he loses his job or sometimes starts drinking, whatever. And then it
Yeah.
just, but it's a slow burn. It's typically not in your face because in your face, most of us are out. Like, oh, that dude's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I'm not doing that. But it's a slow burn. And then
Yeah.
we make excuses for the red flags because they
Yeah.
are there.
I think it's tricky because on the one hand, like there's definitely the sunk cost, right? Oh, I've invested X amount of time with them all these years. I'm not going to just wait. Like I'm going to pursue this investment. We see it as like a sunk cost. And then at the same time, it's so tricky because on the one hand, the more you get to know someone and the deeper you go in the relationship, that's when they're going to reveal these problematic things. Like they don't really reveal them right away. They don't really reveal it in the first year, maybe even in the first 2 years, because it's the honeymoon phase.
I don't know if you've heard this in a study, and I found this to be true, that a person cannot pretend, put that mask on really longer than 6 months. After six
Oh, okay.
months, you'll start to see the cracks and the red flags. Like that anesthesia, that's what I call it, the anesthesia that you're feeling in the first 6 months,
Yeah.
it'll start wearing off after 6 months and you'll start to see who you really are. And for me, in every relationship, friendship as well, I have seen that people can only put that front on for 6 months. After the 6 months, I can't do this. And it's not, oh, I'm this person. Sometimes it is my ex-husband. That's what happened. But
Yeah.
typically Yeah, 6 months, and you start to see they can't hold on to it much
The
longer.
mask
But
comes off.
yeah, but then those 6 months, you're invested.
Yeah,
You're
true.
invested.
But also, exactly as you're saying, they start to reveal things slowly over time. And then you're like, oh, wow, I've already spent 2 years with this person. So I'm not going to waste the time I invested. And he has
I've
this
even heard
potential
Right. I've even heard women say, I made him who he is. I'm not going to let him go so he can do what I created to
for
give it to
someone
somebody
else,
else.
but they'll still be their same selves. I think ultimately, eventually, they might put on a good act for the new girl, but yeah, eventually they'll still be
Yeah.
their same selves. So we talked a lot about this concept of choosing yourself. What would you say choosing yourself actually looks like in real life, not just as a concept, but day to day? How does someone choose themselves?
I didn't realize that I had stopped looking in the mirror.
Mm.
And I'm very spiritual and I meditate every day. I have a whole thing, a whole ritual, if you will, that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the prompts one day was go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and tell yourself you love yourself. Say, I love you to self. And then one of
Yes.
the exercises was kiss yourself. And I was like, oh my God. But now I can do all that. But those are little things that help you blame you because that lets you know how much work you have to do on self. Because you should be able to look in the mirror and go, damn, I'm a bad bitch. God, I love myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm so amazing. But also, we get caught up in, I don't want people to think I'm arrogant because we're
Yeah.
taught to choose everybody else before self.
Yeah.
And I have now adopted what they say on the airplane. If the oxygen mask is going,
Yes. Me too.
take care of yourself first because otherwise you won't be able to take care of anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I live with that mantra in mind, taking care of self. And it's not me being arrogant, it's not me being selfish, it's me being able to take care of me so that I can be a better me for the
Yeah.
world so we can change that thing. But we have to start with the man in the mirror, like Michael said. And you know what? That song just now made sense to me. So sorry, I'm slow. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. It's the
Yeah.
truth. It is really the truth.
It's so true. I think we can't help others until we help ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm the same, by the way. Like all the work I've done on myself. That's why I started the podcast, because now I want to help others
Yep.
because I've done this work on myself. But exactly, yeah, you have to first start at home and then and spread the light, if you will. Amazing. What did you have to unlearn from your whole experience in order to start rebuilding?
I had to unlearn fear, and I'm still unlearning fear. Fear is a I hate fear because it's just that's what keeps everybody where they are.
Yeah.
I got this one thing and it said everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And it's
Yeah.
so
So true.
true. That guy that you really like or that girl that you really like, but you're in a toxic relationship that you're afraid of leaving,
Yeah.
she's on the other side of that. But you can't get to it until you deal with this and get out of it. So fear has been the one thing that I wrestle with.
Here's a big one. And exactly as we said earlier, the unknown is scary. I think people are so afraid of change, just in
Yeah.
general.
Yes. And I keep bringing my daughter up because she is going through the
She's
change.
going through it.
I just, mom, this is so painful. It's so scary.
It
I'm like, I
is.
know. I was like, you're just that the caterpillar trying to get it together to be this amazing butterfly. The other thing I
Yeah.
always say to people, if you quilt, if you know anything about quilting, when you quilt, the underside is so ugly. All you see is strings and different
Ah,
colors. It just
right.
looks a mess. But when you turn it over, you have a masterpiece. And so that's how I
Hmm.
like to look at when people go, well, it's gonna be. Yep, it's going to be. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. I won't lie to you and say that. Let's
Yeah.
just go. It's gonna be hard, but you're building this beautiful masterpiece called self. So I think you
Yeah.
should do it.
I agree. 100%. And same here. Like I've gone through very hard just the last 2 years, basically. And I've started my own business. I've had a crazy, crazy time these last few years, and it was very hard, but I'm so glad I did it. And I'm still not fully on the other side of it. Like my business isn't still thriving in the way that I want it to, but it's getting there. And I'm very proud of myself for betting on myself, exactly as we've
Yes.
said.
And this is what I tell everybody. And then when it starts thriving, you have a new problem. And then
Yeah,
you have
true.
another one. Like
Hmm.
there's no,
It's life.
when I get here, I've arrived and that's it. The only place that is death.
Mm,
You've done it all. And it's no, you keep going though, because life is a journey and
yeah.
we are always becoming.
Mhm.
You'll have those moments where it's just smooth sailing and you're gonna hit that bump again. Cause guess what? Next lesson,
Yeah.
you've outgrown this. It's time to
You
go to
have to
the next
elevate.
level.
I
Yeah.
agree. It sounds like we're similar. I'm the type of person that always wants to be growing and changing and
Same.
evolving. And
Mhm.
some people, yeah, I got that about you with all your endeavors. I figured it sounds, yeah, quite similar. And also just, however, I will say that I feel like maybe we're the exception. Like a lot of people love their sameness. They'll do the same job for 30 years.
It's the
They'll live in the same
stability.
house.
And that was the other thing I was telling my daughter, because I know I'm going back to her, but she's the perfect example right now
Yeah, she's
because
the perfect. Yeah.
she's been in her job 3 years. She's a case manager and she's never had any issues. The moment she put out into the universe, I'm going back into my career, like my acting, her boss, her supervisor just started picking on her out of nowhere.
Really?
This is
Oh,
a woman that has been in this
wow.
job for 20 years. And her and my daughter were friends. They used to hang out.
Yeah.
But when my daughter started choosing herself because she didn't like where they were hanging out, she didn't like the woman's friends. And she's like, that's not my cup of tea. I'm choosing self. This woman got angry. Now, I told you, I set my daughter up with an amazing, if I told you who he was, you'd be like, oh my gosh, she's working with him. Yeah. So I reached out to him. Hey, my daughter wants to get back. He was like, I'll take her. You've got this major opportunity. And she said, hey, for the next 3 weeks, I just need to leave work a couple hours early. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, they told her, we always support you if you have an outside career. We're going to support you. We'll adjust your schedule. Oh, she did that.
Ha.
No, we're going to have to talk about this, the whole nine. And they're making it so hard for her. But
Yeah.
I'm saying choose you because these people, this is what they do. They're
Yeah.
not going any further than this. They are happy here, but
Yep.
we are the exception. But the exceptions are, look at your exceptions, the people admire, the Jeff Bezos, the Beyoncés, the whoever your favorite actor is. These are the people like us that have aspired to do something bigger and take
Hmm.
the steps to do something bigger. Because I guarantee you, everybody in these 9 to 5s, they want to do something bigger, but it's safer here.
You think?
Yeah, yeah,
I think, yes, partially. I think a lot of them are very afraid of change.
yeah.
And some people are not wired for change and for growth in the way that we are. But some of them, I feel like they're just, I guess, not ambitious or they're not risk takers and their bubble is enough for them and they're not necessarily even thinking about it. In one of my other episodes, he talked about this concept of the golden handcuffs, right? Like in the 9 to 5 job, you've got your cushy paycheck,
Right.
your house in the suburbs, whatever. And it's not necessarily bad, but yeah, you're not being pushed to grow because
No.
growth is uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I personally, I don't understand any of that, the golden handcuffs. I've never heard of that, but that is exactly what that is. First of all, let me be very clear. I've never had a 9 to 5 job.
Oh, yeah, I've had them, but I'm not very good at corporate life. I don't like the corporate fakeness, the politics,
Yeah, I won't even do
the,
it. Because
yeah,
I've always been a boss. My parents have told me that since day one. I'm just not bossy like I'll tell
yeah,
you what to do, but I'm my own boss.
yeah.
And I say this because I used to temp and I temped because of course I needed that check, but it was just always funny to see how these people treated their employees and they're like, okay, all right. And I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
out of here, man. There's just no way. It's no way.
Yep.
And I've had a few temp assignments that like, we'd love to hire you. And I'm like, oh no, you wouldn't because I'm gonna tell you about yourself.
Yeah. And it's
But
hard to shut up and keep your head down and
oh, I
not
don't keep
say
my
what
head
you're
down. Yeah, nope.
not say what you really
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
no, that's not me. No, it's not. That's
Good.
actually
Good for
we're
you.
from Chicago. I think Chicagoans are built differently anyway. I
Yeah.
really do. I think everybody I know from Chicago, I saw this one, it was a meme, and it was, I want to say from the show Power, but this guy had this other dude in the headlock and punching him. Didn't anybody tell you I'm from Chicago? I'm like,
Ah.
yes.
Yes, that
I
is
think
true.
we're just, I think, I don't know what it is. It's the water. I don't know what it is, but
The
you
toughness.
hear, yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
we don't take a lot of shit. We just
this is
don't.
true. New Yorkers too, I
It's
think.
the New Yorkers too. Yeah, it's different. We're wired a little differently. If you
Yeah.
want back Midwest, East, yeah, a little different.
Very true. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. We have a little like spice. What would you tell someone who is sitting on a powerful story but afraid to share it with the world?
You got to be a risk taker. We just had a whole conversation about that.
Yeah.
Don't you dare sit on that. Don't you dare sit on that. And just FYI, you may get a trillion no's before you get that yes.
Yeah.
But the key is to believe in yourself, believe in your craft. And I tell my son this because he makes really good music, but he's really insecure about putting it out. And I tell him, you know what? If you got two pots and two pans and two wooden spoons and start banging them, you're going to find an audience. They'll be like, man, well, that's the greatest. Find your
So
audience.
true.
There is
So true.
somebody for absolutely any and everything, especially now with this internet.
Yeah.
You can find anybody to like your pot and pan with the spoon. I'm sure you, and actually,
Bucket
I'm
drumming.
now seeing people beating on buckets. And oh my God, so listen, especially now, this is a day and age where anything is really possible. So if you are sitting on that, you don't have to go and find a publisher. You can self-publish and just do it with
Yeah.
your village. Maybe it'll blow up, maybe it won't, but you have to take the steps. You don't know sitting on it and going, I wish and I wonder. Take
Mhm.
action.
So true. It's never been easier to share content nowadays.
Right.
I would love to turn my story into a screenplay maybe one day. We'll talk about it.
Call me.
If you know anyone or you,
Call me.
exactly. We'll talk about it definitely. And going off of that, if Loved You, Hated You were to turn into a movie slash TV show, what do you think that the tone and visual style would be?
It's funny if you got to read the book. I'm very cinematic. I write like a filmmaker. Actually, I'll tell you who I have in mind to play the characters, which will
Yeah.
give you that. So I'm Gabby, the main character.
You would act
and
as Gabby.
yes.
Okay, wow.
And I'll tell you this in a second. Remind me to tell you about my daughter and the screenplay after
I
this.
was going
'Cause
to
I'm
ask
probably
that.
sure.
Maybe she could act in it. Okay.
So who I have in mind, I'm Gabby, and then the character Goff, who is the mean guy, would be Tyrese Gibson, and the handsome neighbor that moves in next door, the temptation would be Morris Chestnut, to give you an idea. Now there is a part 2 to this. So
Okay.
what we had been discussing, because we are going to make this as a movie, and
Hopefully.
so
Yeah, like it's in the works.
no, isn't we're talking already.
Oh, amazing.
So
Amazing.
yeah, so we're already talking about it. I wrote this, God, I don't know. My son's 18, so probably 20 years ago. And so all of us were younger then, 20 years younger. So we could still pull it off. I think we all still look pretty good. But
Yeah, you look
my daughter
amazing.
and I look alike, and she's an amazing actress. So I was thinking maybe we'll have her and two gentlemen that kind of look like Tyrese and Morris Chestnut play part 1. And then towards the end, if you
Oh.
read the book, she gradually goes into an older person. So we can gradually start working me in and the other two guys in to leave you with the cliffhanger to wait for part 2.
Oh,
So they got,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. I love it. Okay, so do we have any ETA as to is it still hush?
Right now, we are just, honestly, this is me. I haven't relinquished that thought to my daughter yet, but it's a possibility. And it just depends on, I don't know how I really feel about it, because I really love Gabby because she is part of me.
Part of
So
you.
relinquishing that even to my daughter, I don't know. I have to really see, once we get a deal and once we really get into it, I'll make that decision. But that's what I'm playing around with at this point.
Amazing. Wow. It sounds like if anybody could play Gabby aside from you, your daughter would
Oh,
be
for
the
sure.
perfect candidate. So,
Definitely.
wow, exciting. Okay, keep me posted. I'm excited to
Will
see
do.
what happens with the film or TV show or both.
It won't be a TV show. That's too much work.
Oh yeah, sounds like it. I don't know about production, but
TV
I
is
would
a lot of
imagine.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go, I always like to do a fun little this or that rapid fire section. So just answer the next few questions with the first thing that comes to mind. Rapid fire, just quickly, whatever comes to your head. So are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh,
Both. Okay, nice. I'm definitely a night owl. A song or a novel? Which one would you choose to
song.
write? Definitely not the song, I thought.
No, not the song. A novel.
But screenplay is still your favorite, right? Of all the
Screenplay is
three.
my favorite. Yes.
Okay. What is one book that helped you survive your heartbreak?
No books. Music.
Any songs in particular that helped?
No, just music in general. Yeah.
I really like Survivor by Destiny's Child. Like it's
You know what?
it's not even
Guys,
about a breakup, but it's such a good breakup
no,
song.
that is my anthem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially about 4 or 5 years ago. I was playing that
I love
thing.
Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah.
What's one belief about love that you no longer hold?
Ooh, I don't know if I should say this, but you can love more than one person.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think we get so caught up, as we've talked about, like in the identity of they're the one, they're my soulmate. But I think you can have more than one soulmate. And there's different
Yes.
soulmates for different chapters of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or different parts of your life. Because I'm
Yeah.
a split being. Probably shouldn't even be saying this. But my guy now, he has this soul grounded part of me. But
Mhm.
there's this creative part of me that he really can't touch or understand. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And he's supportive, but being supportive and really understanding the artistic side of me are two different things. He's the first person I've ever been with that's not in the industry.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
interesting. But I
Yeah.
think that can be a good thing
And it's
from
been
what I know.
great. It's been
Yeah.
great. But we'll see as things are starting to get some momentum. I might be down here the next time, like, girl,
Hope not.
hopefully not. Though.
What would you say is the most dangerous thing that we tell women about staying in relationships?
Girl, it's gonna be okay.
Or just get over it.
Yeah, yeah. I've had all of that. He loves you. And that was what I got with my ex-husband. I shouldn't have ever married him. That's a whole different story. What I kept getting was, he really loves you. He's really nice. He's just, it's this, it's that, it's the excuses.
Potential.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
It's hard. It's hard when you stay for the potential because they'll show you it. They'll show you little bits and then that keeps you. It's like dangling the carrot. Yeah.
That's my expression, dangling the carrot.
What is one sign that someone has lost themselves in a relationship?
If you call your friend and they can't do anything unless they have to get permission from whomever
their
they're
partner.
with, then they've lost
That's what I mean.
themselves.
Yeah.
I can hey babe, I'm going to do XYZ, but babe, and that's no.
Having to get permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Finish this sentence. The truth hides in fiction because.
People are scared to tell the truth.
And what do you hope every reader feels after finishing the book?
I want them to feel like they want to go find someone that really loves and values them if they haven't already found that.
Amazing. Yeah. I think we all deserve that, but it has to first come from loving ourselves, exactly as we've said.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for your time and for this wonderful conversation. For my audience, where can they connect with you and learn more about the book and your work?
NikkiAllen.com. I made it real simple.
Okay. NikkiAllen.com. And that has links to your book, to
Yes.
to the song, all
It
your
has links to, so that will take you to most of the book, but if you go to the bottom, you'll see about the author and you click that, it'll take you to official NikkiAllen.com, which has everything I'm doing on there.
Okay, amazing. So I will link that in the show notes below for all the listeners. Thank you again, Nikki, so much for your time today. And thank you all for watching another episode of Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. We didn't save the world today, but we did have a really important conversation about what it means to lose yourself in love, to find the courage to leave, and to transform that experience into something that might help someone else feel less alone. Nikki, thank you so much for your time, your vulnerability, and for being willing to share this powerful story with all of us. And to everyone watching, if something in this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need it. Feel free to leave your thoughts or questions in the comments. I always love hearing from you. Don't forget to subscribe and come back for the next one. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you all in the next episode.